Welcome back. Today we're reviewing Chime.com. Chime.com is a bank-ish type institution that is advertising heavily with direct deposit promotions, trying to attract new customers to their product. So, for you and for me, I went in and did try to take advantage of one of their promos. Here is my experience. Stick around to the end and you'll see the chat chain that I have with them and why it didn't work out. But first, let's take a look at their website. So Chime.com, when you come to their site, comes up like this. It looks great. It's fast. It's not like some companies where it really lags. And it seems to work. They offer a few different offerings. So let's walk through. The first thing, though, that is important to know is Chime is not a bank. If you zoom in on their website, it mentions right here that they are a technology company, not a bank. The banking services are provided by one of two companies, the Bank Corp Bank or Stride Bank. Both are FDIC insured, but when you sign up with Chime, you are not actually getting a bank account, or you're not banking with Chime, you are banking with a third party. They offer some pretty cool features. The overdraft fee free with SpotMe. They'll give you up to $200 on debit card purchases. If you go overdraft, now there are terms that you have to comply with, and eligibility requirements do apply, so make sure you look into those details. They offer a payroll advance via this Get Paid When You Say, where you can get up to, remember that's up to $500 of your pay before payday. Something I found with Chime is you absolutely need to read the fine print, and there will be interpretations on some of the fine print. More on that later when I explain why I'm no longer with Chime. Get Paid Early is similar to the payroll advance. No monthly fees, which is pretty darn cool. A network of 47,000 fee-free ATMs. You have a cash back card option, which is pretty darn cool, with 1.5% cash back on rotating categories. So again, you're seeing different terms here and a lot of little items that you need to read through on why they are and what in the world is a rotating category. But these are cool features that are being offered that Chime is trying to use to differentiate themselves from other people. It also offers ways, or they're saying that it helps you increase your FICO score by up to 71 points, and the reason that would be is because they're going to report it to credit, and you have to make your payments on time. Not a bad thing. Just make sure you know what you're getting into. Chime offers two different levels of banking. You'll get Chime, which is your basic standard banking that offers no minimum balances or monthly fees, 47,000 fee-free ATMs, and up to your $200 of fee-free overdraft coverage. And then they offer Chime Plus, which unlocks a couple of cool things where you get up to 3.5% APY on your savings in a high yield savings account. That is much higher than most banks offer. They do offer that $500 payroll advance we mentioned and the cashback credit card. So those are cool options. Another option is Pay Anyone the fast fee-free way. So you can send payments to people that are not necessarily members of Chime. And then the fee-free deposits. Now, the fee-free ATMs, this is something where you have to be a little bit careful. So for example, right now, I was recently in Kanab, Utah, excuse me. So I pulled up what is the ATM network like in Kanab. Well, Kanab's there and there's nothing until you get about 45 minutes to maybe an hour away out here in the Kaibab Indian Reservation, and then you have coverage. However, if you go somewhere like Seattle, then you'll have all sorts of options. You will see that they're usually at a Walgreens, CVS, 7-Eleven, Circle K. You generally do not have a normal banking institution or something like that. So it will be a little bit more limited. If you're in a metropolitan market, probably not a big deal, but you don't have the access to like a credit union network or a banking network where you can just drive up and have the privacy that you would have at a drive-through type ATM or a banking institution. So these are all things that are good to know. The app itself, when you log in, and I'm only showing you screenshots here. I'll have to explain in a second why I'm no longer with Chime and why I no longer have access to this. But it works. It actually does work. It works fine. If you set up your direct deposits, you can see it tells you when they came in. It tells you that I did try to use my debit card. It activated just fine. I was able to go into the app and activate it. Chime does push you to their mobile app very quickly, as an FYI. When you are signing up, before you can complete your sign up, you do have to download and install the app on your mobile device and then utilize that. I don't generally like to use mobile apps for anything more than basic banking, depositing checks, stuff like that, because any more complex transactions, it's easier to make a mistake on your mobile device than it is on a computer or on a tablet where you can see more. But their app actually looks very similar to this. When you come in, you can see that you have Your overview, which is where I'm at right now, move money, cash map, or profile. In my experience, it does not like hover or mark the tab that you're on. But then you come over here, and then when you come into the other options, you can basically look at these and say, well, these are your options. Very basic, but basic works. This is realistically what most banks offer unless you have investment type options. But this is tablet friendly, it's touchscreen friendly, and it's quick. It does actually work. You can move your direct deposit. If you click on that, it'll actually populate your information on a form and let you download it. Beware, it automatically checks by default that you want to move your entire direct deposit, not just a partial direct deposit. It lets you deposit cash. That's going to make you go somewhere, of course, to do it. Pay bills electronically, mail a check, link a new account, pay anyone. So great options. It works fine. It's a basic bank offering. If that's all you need, if you like the high APY on the high interest rate on your savings account, and 3.5%, unfortunately in today's world, is a higher savings account amount, this works. Where you start to run into problems with Chime is when you get into the promotions. So let's talk about that right now. So I came in under a new member promotion where you would get $350 for setting up an account and then making 3 $200 direct deposits a month apart. Now they do have an active $130 direct deposit promo going on right now, but with Chime, details matter. You've got to read the fine print, and they will have overlays and arbitrary interpretations of different things. So this one mentioned that if they will give you up to $350 if you make a qualifying direct deposit of $200, and then you would get a $100 reward. 30 calendar days later, you make another qualifying deposit and get another $100 reward. And then the third month, you get a $150 reward. The caveat on this is you have to make a qualifying direct deposit. Now, what is a qualifying direct deposit? Well, again, reading into the fine print, here we go. That is a deposit by ACH that comes from your employer, step one, a payroll provider, gig economy payer, or benefits provider, or deposited by original credit transaction, OCT, from your gig economy payer. Okay, easy enough. Then there's a caveat. Bank ACH transfers, pay anyone transfers, verification and trial deposits from financial institutions, peer-to-peer deposits from services such as PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, mobile check deposits, cash deposits, one-time direct deposits such as tax refunds, and any deposit to which Chime does not deem a qualifying direct deposit. This is where we ran into trouble. So I had a direct deposit come in from my employer's financial institution, and it showed up as a P2P payment. Realizing that may be a problem, I called in and asked them, is this coded as a direct deposit? It shows as a P2P payment on my app, and they said, yes, we see it as a direct deposit. I thought, great, moved on. A week later, I still had not received my bonus, and I called in and asked them, why have I not received my bonus? And that's where things went pear-shaped. Now, to Chime's credit, their mobile app and their messaging system and their AI system actually works pretty darn good. So I logged in, I got Jade, the AI assistant. Not generally a fan of AI assistants, but in this instance, I was kind of impressed. So the AI assistant, it of course is being recorded, etc., etc. And I asked, well, my direct deposit arrived a while ago, why haven't I seen it? And then it proceeded to walk me through all of the little things, which was fine. And it asked these questions, did it come from a qualifying source? Are you using the latest version of the app? You have to be eligible, blah, blah, blah. So I informed them I've enrolled using the $300 bonus. I've made a $201 deposit, called and verified that it was received. What's up? And at that point, it looks like, hold on, I'm out of order. All right, we're back in order. It immediately mentioned that since I've confirmed that it was coded correctly, it had been more than 24 hours, it asked me, without me having to ask for it, would you like to talk to a live agent? Which of course I said yes. And then it said, great, we're going to transfer you over. And it didn't take terribly long. It said 3 minutes. It was probably right about 3 minutes, which for an AI system, I guess that's okay. It said it was connecting me, and then it connected me with Anne. So Anne hopped in and said, hey, thanks for contacting us. She was friendly enough. And I asked her if she had access to the system. Now, another thing to Chime's credit, it actually logged her into my account. We didn't have to go through a whole bunch of verification proceedings or anything else. She was there. She was able to see. And I had to reiterate what I was going on. And then she said, yeah, let me take a look at it. And then asked a couple of other things. So here she tells me, yes, we see that you enrolled or you were enrolled in this $350 bonus. It was provided in 3 ways. And then she proceeded to tell me what the 3 ways were, blah, blah, blah. And I told her, yeah, understand that, but I haven't received the bonus. And then she asked if this company, if the credit union that I was using or my employer was using was a payroll provider. And I told her it was a credit union that my company uses to send direct deposits. Not every company is a payroll provider like Paychex or ADP. So a bank sending a direct deposit per their terms should have been fine. So I told her, yep, it's who my company uses for this. And then she talks about qualifying direct deposit is from an ACH coming from your employer. This exactly what this was, et cetera, et cetera. And then she goes into bank ACH transfers, pay anyone, et cetera, are not. And anything we deem not to be a qualifying direct deposit is not a qualifying direct deposit. And as she's typing, then she says, hey, are we still connected? Well, I hadn't had time to type a response, so I had sent this response and told her my company doesn't use a national payroll provider. That's a fee service that most small companies don't really use. So as we're walking through, then I had to ask her if we were still connected because it had been a few minutes and she hadn't responded. Then she wanted to look through the details. I said, fine, let's go. And then she keeps on coming back to set expectations carefully. It hasn't been credited because your direct deposit was not qualified. So I asked for some more clarification, saying the qualifications are not clear because Chime verified that it is a direct deposit, that it was recorded as a direct deposit, but now Chime's deeming it's not a qualified direct deposit. It was initiated by ACH transfer. My company, she had asked if my company would go ahead and change how they pay. No, they're not going to. So she said, well, it's just not going to work. Do you want to talk to someone on a call? I said, sure. So she escalated it. And this is, again, a cool thing about Chime. They actually did escalate it. I didn't have to call them. They transferred me into the phone system by calling me, but then it placed me on hold. So I did have to hold for someone. And they proceeded to ask my sister if it was resolved. It was not. And unfortunately, as I got on the phone, there's nothing they could do. If they deem it not to be a qualifying transaction, they're not going to qualify it despite it having been an ACH from an employer. It just didn't matter. So the only benefit for me in this instance of even trying Chime out was the promotion. With the promotion being gone, I don't need to stick around. There's plenty of other companies that will pay a direct deposit promotion if you just sign up and follow a couple of easy rules. I've actually done that with Key Bank before, as well as a couple of others. So Chime is fine. For what it is, it's a system that does work. It's a very basic system, as are most banks and credit unions. Most of them do not offer enhanced services, investment options, all the other things, financial planning that would go into it. So if you are working with a company that uses a national payroll provider and you like what Chime offers, I don't have a problem with the Chime setup. I don't think they offer anything different than like a SoFi or actually most banks or credit unions. So what you do lose with them is you lose the ability to use local ATMs if you're in a more rural network. With Chime not being able to honor the terms of their bonus, there's no benefit to me to sticking around. My local credit union actually offers a high yield savings account, local ATMs, local branches, loans, anything else that I need. And I will look more into like SoFi and some of the others that I see coming up. As far as my review of Chime, I'd say it's probably a 3 stars out of 5. The technology works, and it works well. The AI assistant actually gets you to a person and allows you to talk to someone. Their ability to resolve the issues, that it seems like they're very tied to their policies and procedures, and they weigh that to the company's benefit as opposed to the people that are coming in. So that's the only reason that I would rate it a 3 out of 5. There's no local presence. There's no real benefit to banking with them. The technology is great. The technology works. And the AI assistant and communication was fine. The people were personable. I didn't have a problem with that. But again, when it actually comes down to following through on a commitment, I do worry what they would use as a qualifying whatever in the future, because again, it was weighted towards their purpose. So that was my experience with Chime. Technology works great. The system seems fine, but the benefits to using a company that is out of an area that is out of your area, it's not in a local market, and you don't have access to a a banking network of ATMs is going to limit you with any traveling that you're using. I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, please give us a like down below. If you'd like to see more videos like this and a whole bunch of other things, check out our channel and consider subscribing. And if you know someone who may benefit from this, do share. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next one.